So, Robert, we're next to a tree
We're next to a tree
in Haddonfield,
in
or
Haddonfield,
South Pasadena,
South
but
Pasadena, California, but it is Haddonfield, Illinois, to
it
Halloween
is.
fans around the world. And we are in front of the Myers house. Oh, shit.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Okay,
They've upgraded.
that's not the Myers house, but that is where it was. And how do we know that? Well, in Halloween, when the Myers house was there, Laurie drops the key off. Michael Myers looks out the door. The camera can see across the street, and the camera sees right here. The camera sees these steps leading up to this house, and the camera sees that house over there. The windows feature prominently in the shot. There was no white fence there. There was no white fence there 3 months ago, but certainly not there in 1978. So where we're standing is where the movie starts.
The first shot in the entire franchise is
Right
what
at
you're
this
telling
tree.
me. Right here. Who knew? Well, you did.
The movie opens with opening credits, filmed in a garage. And after opening credits, goes to black. The black moves because the camera comes out from behind this tree. Steadicam, operated by the great Ray Stella, cinematographer Dean Cundy, setting up the shot. And they go across the street and they do the most complicated shot in the film.
Most expensive shot as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Not quite,
Really?
but close. The most expensive shot was here. Although that shot might have been expensive with the Steadicam because they had to do a lot of painting. When you see the Myers house in Halloween, it looks run down and dilapidated through most of the film. In the modern 1978 modern portion of the movie, that's how the house really looked. They didn't have to do anything to it.
It's convenient.
But in 1963, when the house is supposed to look nice and lived in, they had to do all that work on it. So that, even though it's the beginning of the movie, is the last thing they filmed.
Well, I'll be.
So the Steadicam shot goes into the house, kills Judith, comes back out of the house. Looks like one continuous shot, but there actually are cuts in it. Like when the mask comes down, there's a cut. There's a cut when they turn around. And this shot was inspired by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's favorite Orson Welles movie, Touch of Evil, the opening shot in Venice Beach. Now we get to the most expensive shot in the movie. Our killer comes out of the house and a car pulls up. It's two grown-ups going to see they know who the killer is.
That's right. They know him by name.
They take the mask off. And these are extras, non-speaking actors who don't get paid that much. Because the voice we hear say Michael is John Carpenter.
Well, I'll be. Michael? That was him?
That was him. He was cheap. He was also the voice of Paul, Annie's boyfriend, who we never see.
On the phone?
On the phone.
I still learn new stuff to this day. That's why I stalk this guy.
He does. Now we get to the expensive shot. It's the big reveal that the killer's a little boy. Parents are like, what's going on?
Yeah, they're
and the camera.
Are they really? The mom was just standing there like this. Oh, there's my boy with blood on a knife.
Like
they were both just standing. I was like, okay.
But it's just that what the hell to do this time kind of thing, and she's just kind of trying not to lose her cool.
Oh, that must be it.
But the camera comes up. Now we're in the expensive shot because that's a crane shot. So there was a crane set up right here. Now, of course, in our modern era, you'd shoot that with a drone or something cheap. But back then, crane shots were expensive. So on a little budget film like Halloween, that was an impressive shot. So since there is no Myers house here, where did it go? Right down at the end of this block here, we are standing on Meridian. And if you go up to Meridian and Mission, that is where the Myers house sits to this day. It was moved in the late 80s. Now look over here. All this stuff is relatively new compared to this side of the street, which has been here 50, 70, 80 years. This was cleared out in the late 80s. As they were clearing it out, and you'll notice when you visit the Myers house, there's no back porch on it. And the back porch is where Michael actually enters the house in that shot. That is how close the Myers house was to being torn down. The bulldozer already hit it once, clipped that porch off, and a good citizen of South Pasadena, whose name escapes me, he pulled over saying they cannot tear that house down. It's the oldest house in South Pasadena. The house goes back to 1885. The town of South Pasadena only goes back to 1888. The house is older than the town.
I'll be damned.
And he said, you got to save that house. It's a historic house. He knew nothing about the movie. He only knew its local importance. So they said, hey, you can have the house, but if you don't move it by the end of the week, we're going to knock it down anyway. We got to get it out of here. So with no place to put it, he thought it was better to ask forgiveness than permission. He just moves the house a few hundred yards down to the end of the street and drops it on the property that's actually owned by the railroad company. And that's how the Myers house got saved. And that is why it's not here now, as we point out the beginning shot of Halloween.
Wow, so it all starts here, and there's more. They
You know,
utilized a lot in just this
when you're
small
doing a 20, 22 day shoot, you really got to utilize your locations. If we were to walk to the end of the street, there's an Indian restaurant that was in 1978. We don't know what it was, but it was a brick building that was used as the hardware store.
With the alarm going off all day, apparently, because Michael has that mask in the morning, and Sheriff Brackett says, "Oh, it was stolen. So probably kids with some knives in their mask."
Maybe it's like the modern car alarms. You turn it off once, and the damn thing keeps coming back on. So it might have just been a shitty alarm.
That's probably what it was.
We'll give them a little leeway there. However, this street is used for quite a few shots in Halloween and Halloween 2.
And Halloween 2.
They figured, hey, we had such good luck with it before. We got to use this location anyway for the Myers house. So let's find something to shoot here. And they were able to find a couple of things. We're walking by now the Elrod house.
This is the front.
We usually see this house from the back because that is what was used in the film. You can see on the side where Michael's going to enter into the kitchen because he misplaced his knife.
Yeah, he needs a new knife.
So you got to get a new knife. Got a new movie.
Maybe a ham sandwich if he wants with mayonnaise.
He was dumb to leave that there. All he had to eat was a dog.
Yeah,
it didn't look like a very big dog.
How filling can that be?
Not very. You know, especially if it was a terrier or something.
Yeah.
So he gets his knife and he goes out, and he actually goes all the way to Sierra Madre.
He does. It's a long walk.
Fleet of foot. So as we come down again, these were different homes back in 78. But this is where Tommy and Laurie Strode walked to school together, and they passed by the Myers house. So Donald Pleasance would have spent most of his 5 days just standing in the bushes waiting for somebody to show up.
I've done that.
Yeah, you have.
We know. That was educational purposes. Totally cool. I had a permit.
So as we go down the street, you and I are walking in the steps of one of the coolest Halloween characters never seen.
Ah, that's right.
Ben Tramer.
Ben Tramer.
One of the best payoffs in cinema history. We hear about this kid all through the original Halloween. This is who Laurie Strode is sweet on. She wants to get a date with him, but she doesn't want to ask, so Annie does it for her. Oh, she's so embarrassed. Well, in Halloween 2, we catch a glimpse of Ben Tramer, but he's got his Halloween mask on.
He's got the blonde shaped mask, or the blonde Michael Myers mask.
He just picked the wrong mask, poor bastard. That's like you talk about someone who's cursed in these movies. That's Ben Tramer. That kid didn't do nothing wrong. Didn't get to have his date with Laurie Strode.
No, she was hot too.
She was. He didn't. He had a bag of candy on him. They didn't get to eat that.
Oh, I love candy.
And the poor son of a bitch didn't even make it home. So he's walking, and at the end of the corner there, a police car pulls up with our Sheriff Brackett, played by the late, great Charles Cyphers. And, of course, Donald Pleasance is Dr. Loomis. And Donald Pleasance, Dr. Loomis, thinks he sees Michael Myers right about here. So he jumps out of the car, pulls a gun out. Halloween night, kids are out trick-or-treating. So Sheriff Brackett is now desperately chasing him, realizing I have made a horrible mistake teaming up with this guy. And they get about as far as that picket fence down there. Poor Ben Tramer, he's drunk, but he is he's coherent enough to realize that I think there's an old man pointing a gun at me. So I should probably go away from that. Wanders into the street, and wouldn't you know it, a police officer cruising at a nice 80 miles per hour in a residential street on Halloween night clobbers him into that corner. Now, if you will look at the shot, there is a white van parked on that corner.
There it is.
And that's what takes the impact, and that's what makes the explosion. And you see these houses in the background of the fireball. But look how big that explosion was.
Pretty big.
Next to these actual houses.
That would frighten me. It would. Especially if it was windy that day. But
the funny thing is, and no one knew this for years, but it was, I guess, like an inside joke kind of thing with the filmmakers. The same corner that Ben Tramer dies a horrific flame ball death is where Laurie Strode and Tommy Doyle meet to go to school together Halloween morning in Halloween 1, 1978.
Little did they know Michael Myers would be driving a police car right into Ben Tramer in the sequel.
Some of those visible palm trees that kind of take us out of Illinois are still present to this day, right down the street, as Laurie and Tommy would have crossed the street.
Yes, yeah. Luckily, nobody going 70, 80 miles an hour on the street that morning, but later that night. Of course, I'm talking about the deputy played by Dick Warlock, who actually does kill everybody
in Halloween.
In Halloween,
and Halloween, in Halloween too,
without
he kills
that
everybody.
mask on.
Yeah,
good for him. I think.
Well,
yeah. But wow, so we got.
You notice how quick he was to cover his ass, though. What does he say when he stumbles out of the car?
Came out of nowhere.
No, man, you were doing 80 in a residential. I think you're going to jail.
Well, not back then. They didn't have cameras, and he was right. The kid came out of nowhere. He shouldn't have been crossing the street.
I guess so.
You know, especially when there's a serial killer going around. Everybody knows that.
I guess so. It wasn't a good look. That's all I'm saying.
Common sense. It's the sheriff's department. It's okay. They're different from the actual police department because,
well, you know,
sheriff.
Halloween 4 establishes that Sheriff Brackett retired
to Arizona.
In 81. No, to St. Petersburg in Florida.
Close
but
enough.
How the hell did he keep his job after Halloween night 78? I mean, just the Ben Tramer thing alone, someone's going to have to lose their job over that.
Well, you know, he probably got a pass that night. His daughter didn't have the funnest night.
You know, that's true. I had not heard of that.
So,